we are going to talk about Zara Allena, and let me just make sure that I've got the picture I wanted. Sorry, Chloe. If you ever leave me, I'll know why. If you ever go to the other side, I get it. Chloe will be on Ginger Geminis tomorrow. I don't even drink. Okay. So. Right, okay. We're going to talk about a lady who was actually amazing. Thank you. So in June of 2022, 35-year-old Zara Allena, a Londoner, was stalked and brutally murdered while walking home after a night out with her friends. Her killer, Jordan McSweeney, was a violent predator who had a criminal record as long as his arm for crimes against women. He had stalked multiple women even that same night before targeting Allena in a random attack. The senseless murder sparked national outrage. Not enough for me, to be fair. It wasn't, the same as, say, Zara Allena got. As Sarah Everard got. And I don't begrudge Sarah Everard for getting that attention. I just think all victims should get the same. And I think it's really, really hard sometimes when people don't get that recognition for what they've been through. So in the early hours of June the 26th, 2022, Zara Allena was walking home in Cranbrook Road in Ilford, Essex, after spending a Saturday night out with her friends. And extensive surveillance cameras captured her attacker, Jordan McSweeney, prowling the streets that night. He was intoxicated. He'd been kicked out of a bar for being very drunk. Thank you, Kirsty. And he was just stalking women up and down the street. Women were running into the shop to get away from him. Then he would pick another woman. This man was a brute. I'm going to show you some of the pictures from the CCTV. Thank you so much, guys, for all the... I'm going to show you some of the CCTV because... So let me get these bigger so I can show you. So this is one of the pictures from that night. It really is haunting. The pictures just make you think... For every woman that escapes on the CCTV, because there's about 3 of them, you like, yes, she got away, she went into a shop, and then he goes for another lady, and Zara paid the price. So I know it's not straight, the picture, so I literally was in a rush. So this is him following a woman into a shop that night. No, we're just getting started. This is him trying to talk to someone else. He's trying to speak to someone else at the crossing. Then we have, that's the next day, he's carrying his bags. We then have this picture, which is quite horrific. We have, this is one of the last pictures before the attack. We have Zara in the yellow. I've done it once before, ET, quite a long time ago. And we have him behind, and she's really unaware of what's going to happen at this point. Now, she was a law graduate. She was absolutely the first lady in her family, I believe, to finish university. She had studied law. She was very, very passionate about helping people. No problem, Jacqueline, I don't mean it. And she was killed just walking, thank you, Mel, walking back from a night out. There was absolutely nothing she could have done differently, nothing she should have done differently. She was just walking home. The CCTV footage shows McSweeney attempting to follow several lone women that night, who, from midnight to 2 a.m, he was just searching, hunting, we should say. Some managed to duck into shops, or one ran away at full in Ilford. One was just in sheer panic, just ran. Hey, Nana Barb. So one woman McSweeney actually pursued for 21 minutes. 21 minutes he followed her, getting closer and closer. She was terrified. And now to this day she had PTSD because she knows what she escaped. She knows what happened to Zara just after. I'm going to show you this bastard. I'm not keeping up for long because I can't fucking stand him. This is him here. This is him. And would you know it, last year a female prison guard got into a sexual relationship with him, knowing what he was capable of and what he'd done to Zara, and her family were devastated, and they dropped the charges in Ilford in London. What kind of woman? What kind of woman, man? Let me tell you what he did to her before you see how bad that is. So another woman realised she's been stalked and crossed Cranbrook Road just in time to reach her house. Tragically, just after 2 a.m, Zara Allena's path fatefully crossed with McSweeney along the Cranbrook Road during her 10-minute walk home. For several minutes, McSweeney stalked Allena by walking closely behind her on the main road. Tragically, at roughly 2:15 a.m, he grabbed her, a hand across the face, dragged her into a driveway. He grabbed her from behind. They went into the driveway just off a residential property, and what followed was a 9-minute sexual assault, a rape. It lasted 9 minutes. Zara, I'll just call her because this was illegal paperwork. Zara was raped, kicked, stamped on repeatedly, suffering 46 separate injuries in the attack. A fence post was used to maximise the force of the blows to her head and her body. The extraordinary brutality inflicted upon Zara was described as almost unbelievable in its cruelty. She was left unconscious after the initial attack, and he left the scene, got to the bottom of the road, and come running back to finish her off. He stopped after the first 9 minutes. So 9 minutes of hell she went through, of being attacked, stomped on, kicked, raped. At one point he stops because a car passes, and he stands back into the shadows again. After 9 minutes, walks off because he thinks he's killed her. And then he steals her purse, her phone, her keys, house keys, and he takes some items of her clothing. And then he returns twice more just to stamp on her body again. So twice she would have thought, this may be over, and twice he came back to do it again. He was not going to finish until he had absolutely obliterated her body. I know we just talked about that. So this woman knows that this was what he did to her, and chose to have sex with him and give him that privilege of a female body behind bars. So Zara was eventually found at 2:40 by a group of 4 people passing by, who immediately called for help. What they described they saw that day in the courtroom was just beyond heartbreaking. Like, the way they found her, you just can't find words for it. The best efforts of the paramedics and the hospital staff were absolutely maximised. No, he tried to follow several women that night. She was just the last one he managed to sneak up on. Thank you, Claire. Despite the efforts of paramedics and hospital staff, she tragically passed away in intensive care due to the severity of her injuries. Now, the horrendous attack on Zara meant that her autopsy reads like a horror story. She had several broken bones, and her head injuries were so extensive. There was no coming back from those brain injuries, the fractures. Most of his attacks were around her head area. Now, I want to go back a little bit in time. I wanted to tell you, and just get that part out of the way, but I want to tell you who Zara was. And if you've never saw me cover cases before, or it's your first time, you will know that my pride in joining these cases is always doing it from the victimology, the side of the victim, who they were. So Zara Allena was a beloved 35-year-old aspiring lawyer who had a whole life ahead of her. She was born in Ilford to a close Muslim family and was raised by her single mother, Farnaz. From a young age, Zara actively immersed herself in her community, not just in Ilford, but in the Muslim community, and also around children. She loved children, and she pushed as hard as she could to pursue her academic dreams. Those who knew Zara described her as joyful, ambitious, thoughtful, and full of life. She built a vibrant circle of friends across different cultures, and she was somebody who absolutely loved her faith, but loved all faiths. She didn't care who you were, what you believed in, who your family were. Thank you, Kirsty. What country you came from. She just cared if you were kind to her. And she always said to people, don't tell me what you feel about them. I'll tell you how they are to me. She was just gorgeous, this natural curly hair, a beautiful woman, an absolutely massive brain. Really wanted to put it to good use. She wanted to go into law. She wanted to help people. She dedicated all of her free time to giving back. She volunteered, thank you, Yaz, at local youth clubs and with organisations supporting refugees. Thank you, Yaz. She cared deeply about justice, human rights, and creating a positive change in the world. I always struggle with those words, thank you, Yaz. She wanted to make this world better. So she studied for years, she brought communities together, she worked with children, she was known to hype up her mum. Thank you, Jasper. She used to say, like, my mum's a single mum, like she's a boss. Every time she was told how well she was doing, she would say it's because of my mum. She gave her mum props for it all. Thank you guys for the gift. She absolutely was like, oh no, I'm my mum's daughter. Like, I'm tough because my mum's tough. I'm gonna be a lawyer because my mum taught me I could be anything. She always put it back to someone else. Like, I am this woman because of this woman. I am this because of this. Thank you so much. And it always makes me so sad. And I know there's not a perfect victim type, but I think, why are we in this state in the world? And it's because we're losing all the people that would really make the positive difference. We're losing all the people that were like angels on earth. Like, she was doing so much. Her family have absolutely fought hard. You know, I hate saying this, and I really do hate saying it, but the reason why we all know Sarah Everard's story and we don't know Zara's so much is because she was from the Muslim community. It's the truth. It's because she doesn't have blonde hair and blue eyes, and it is. And that's why I want to keep talking about Zara and why I've covered her case far more, because although Sarah Everard needs to be remembered and we need to talk about Sarah Everard, we also need to remember all the women that it happened to. And we need to be hashtagging also, like, her name was Zara Allena, she was walking home. We need to be doing protests for Zara Allena. We need to be gathering and refusing to move for Zara Allena. And we're not seeing the same for certain communities. Her loved ones say that she was full of generosity. She would be the first to always volunteer at holiday times in the soup kitchens and shelters. She was confident, strong, independent, someone who lived boldly and made sure any room she entered was full of laughter and positivity. She travelled extensively, what she wanted to do before becoming a mother. And just before her death, she told her friends that she was saving up for her next trip, which was to backpack across South America and help children. According to her family, Allena was happy, healthy and thriving in the prime of her life when she was cruelly ripped away from this world. And the brutality of what happened to her from a stranger was what rocked them the most. Now, her killer, on the other hand, Jordan McSweeney, and I'm not going to put his picture up again. I'll show you briefly. I'm not keeping him up on the screen because I just can't. This isn't his story. He was a violent career criminal who recently had been released from prison for another attack on a woman. He had come from a difficult background, not really interested when you become this kind of person. As a teenager, he had been expelled twice from school from selling drugs and violence. He participated in illegal bare-knuckle fights as a youth. He racked up an extensive rap sheet, including convictions for assaults, robbery, theft, criminal damage, harassment and driving offences. His criminal record showed that he had a clear pattern of violence towards women. He hated them. Past girlfriends accused him of domestic violence and abuse. While serving his numerous short prison sentences, he accrued over 100 additional violations and involved things such as trying to spit at female prison officers and violations, threats, intimidation, disobedience. He was a fucking monster. In the months before the murder, McSweeney had been incarcerated for robbery. He was released on June the 17th, 2022, and promptly violated his conditions of probation by missing appointments on June the 21st and the 20th. So 20th and 21st he missed appointments, meaning he should have been rearrested and put back in prison. However, they failed to comply with this, and he would go on to murder Zara on the 26th. So they had 4 days to recall him, because at this point, a man who's already a violent risk to women has proved he can't even attend appointments. We need to get him quickly back off the streets, but they didn't do that. They didn't get him back. They didn't bring him back. They didn't recall him. They just left him out onto the streets. Now, this meant he was free on the 26th. Now, his paperwork had been signed on the 24th to rearrest, and he was staying in a caravan with an address on his probation paperwork, but they didn't arrest him. Due to extensive CCTV footage tracking his movements and fingerprint evidence from the crime scene, McSweeney was arrested less than 36 hours after. And we have like pictures even now. We have like, thank you, Kirst. We have this picture here. He is walking home through a fun fair where kids are. And in that bag, he has his bloody shoes, his bloody clothes, and some of hers that he's taken. He's just walking through the streets. Nonchalant. He has in that bag, literally basically a bag full of blood. Because of the brutal injuries he inflicted on her. And he's just walking amongst kids on blow-up slides and just normal people, like it didn't even matter. He's still there in the cafe just walking. Oh, Mel, thank you so much, Mel. Thank you, Mel. That means well. Thank you so much. Big up, Mel, everyone. Now, he refused to cooperate with the investigation, remained silent, and he showed no remorse. Till this day, showed no remorse. Now, with overwhelming evidence, he eventually in the courtroom, for no other reason than because he's a coward, he let her parents hear the evidence. Then he decided to go, oh, actually, I'll plead guilty. Then he refused to come in to hear his sentence, which up until now we're trying to change that, and hopefully that should be the thing where they'll get dragged into the court regardless. He said, no, I'm not going to go sit there for that. He was sentenced to life imprisonment with a 38-year minimum before being eligible for parole. Now, when he went back, this is the reason that Zara's case first become one I covered, is because in February of 2023, he went back to the court on appeal and said, you give me too harsh a sentence. And they said, yeah, sorry, Mr. McSweeney, we'll knock 5 years off. And I just can't fucking understand. Like, I don't understand. We're addressing how dangerous he is. We're addressing how extensive his crimes are. Thank you, Yaz. We're addressing what he did. Thank you, Shani. To Zara and how brutal it was. But then we take 5 years off. Zara's family condemned the reduced sentence for failing to adequately reflect the shocking nature and the brutality shown to their daughter and sister. It faced backlash from women's rights advocates demanding tougher sentences for deadly violence against women. Now, Zara Aliena's murder has become a powerful symbol. Let me get him off because I can't stand this man. This is another beautiful picture of her, actually. She's stunning. She's absolutely just so different. Look at her beautiful hair. I love curly hair. I just think she's beautiful. Her case has become a powerful symbol of the ongoing problem for violence against women in the UK. Her shocking murder happened just 16 months after Sarah Everard's murder. And obviously she was kidnapped, raped and murdered by a police officer from Metropolitan Police. These cases did, spark a national reckoning around violence for women. But we're still in a situation where it's happening every single day. It's happening every single day. Statistics show that violence disproportionately impacts women. An estimated 1.3 women in England and Wales suffered domestic abuse in 2021 alone, while rape prosecution remains near the lowest records it's ever been. Horrific cases like Allena's have cast a spotlight over barriers women face to safely navigate themselves in the public. Her name is Zara Allena. Allena's family have honoured her memory by tirelessly campaigning for justice, for reform and societal changes to stop violence against women. They have become vocal advocates, emphasising their loss of their vivacious daughter and represent the enormous human cost of systemic failures. Her murder highlights dangerous gaps in monitoring violent offenders who are on release probation. McSweeney's history of domestic violence and harassment of women was known, clearly known. Thank you, Joanne. He had a history of domestic violence, harassment, stalking, yet he was released from prison early on good behaviour and avoided rearrest despite violating his probation several times in 1 week. An independent review following public pressure found deep flaws that allowed this known violent criminal to roam free, leading to Zara's murder. The horrific murder of Zara Allena represents an unconscionable loss and urgent wake-up call for society. And we know that this is not going to stop until something is actually done. I looked into the inquest today of Zara Allena. It was held on the 26th of June 2024. They found so many failings. Sorry, Mouse. Thank you, Mouse. They found that multiple state agencies' failures to act in line with policies to protect women, and so they actually contributed to Zara's murder. This include failures to share intelligence, accurate assessment of risk to harm, no act or plan in response to the risk that he possessed. She was sexually assaulted and murdered, and they have now found that he was very likely to have done this. Even in prison, he showed hatred to women. He showed that he wasn't safe. Every relationship with women he'd had ended in violence. So, thank you, Shirley. He had been arrested 69 separate times, going over 17 years. He had 28 previous convictions for violence. He was handed restraining orders for offences against women the year before. The probation inspectorate found that if he should have been considered a high risk of serious harm offender, and more an action should have been taken to recall him from prison. The failings were echoed by McSweeney's probation officer, who said, yes, we should have taken it we should have taken it more seriously. The inquest also found the Metropolitan Police were lacking in the fact they didn't rearrest him. Also occurred within the prison service. His prison manager failed to share reports of what he'd done in prison, how dangerous he was, the threats he made. And these combined failings left McSweeney free to stalk several women and murder Zara Allena. And it goes on this massive long thing that basically just said the verdict would not bring Zara back, but the verdict means that Zara should never have died. And again, it says we will do better in the future. Do they ever? Shoulda, woulda, coulda, but it doesn't bring her back, does it, for our family? We just keep telling. Well, I keep telling you the same stories, and they never have a fucking different outcome. And one day I just hope they go, oh, they learnt from the last time then. Like, no one else had to die. Just put some of these pictures up. This was just outside the garden where her life was taken. I do have a map. I think I've made it quite blurry, but I'll try and help. So we see the place where the Jordan has been spotted on CCTV that night, looking for people up and down that Cranbrook Road. We then know that Zara left this place down here and headed up towards her home, near Valentine's Park, where she was going when she was attacked just before she could even get there. Yeah. This is him here. Him the next day with the bloody clothing. We then have him stalking several other women that night after he'd been kicked out of somewhere for drinking too much. One woman, he even just followed her straight into the shop where she went for help. It was only after when he was told to leave that he left the shop. He was just going to go straight in the shop. He didn't care. This is Zara. Oh, he's just dead inside, isn't he? Look how beautiful she is, man. And this is, not from what I know, Shell. This is him following her. I think the attack was so ferocious and unexpected that I imagine his first thought was to knock her unconscious, because we know the brutality of some of the injuries, especially when he used the fence post, was to cause such significant brain injury. I don't know how much she would even be awake to scream for, if I'm honest. It was a brutal and ferocious attack. You've got to think, in that moment, a young, beautiful woman, if she's told, shut up or I'll kill you, your first instinct is going to be, maybe if I just be quiet, this will be over. It may just be a sex attack. Maybe I'll get away. You just don't even know. This is what I don't understand, Suze. Like, how many times can somebody say, I'm a danger, before we take that seriously and protect? I was looking at a case last night. I was just watching it in bed because I was getting ready to do some research on it. And this court was held up so much because they were trying to find out, did this guy who did it, did he have any mental health issues? Was he maybe autistic? Did he suffer from PTSD? And I thought, why are we giving a fuck? Why aren't you spending months trying to work out who the victim was? Did she suffer from mental health? Did she have other traumas as a child, which meant that she was in more pain as she died? Who did she ask for in her final moments? Did she plead for her life? Did she ask for her mum? Was she scared of the dark? Like, why are we always asking about these fucks, man? Why are we always asking, like, oh, we'll give him a lower sentence, like, oh, he may be on the spectrum, he had mental health issues. Like, who gives a fuck? At the point when you become an attacker or a killer of people, kids, women, vulnerable people, I don't really care if you've had a life of mental health issues. What does it matter? Nothing that anyone goes through in life gives you the excuse to take another life. There is nothing Jordan McSweeney could have gone through, including as a child, that will make me not feel as angry and as outraged at what he did to Zara. People who go through trauma as a child tend to be nicer people that break the cycle, that can't stand children being hurt. Then there's the 10% that want to take it out on the world. Thank you, Rachel. I'm sorry, if you're one of those people that's so angry you can't live in humanity, end it. Do whatever you need to do, protect people. I'm sorry. But how much of society can we keep paying over and over again? Like what happened with the kids dancing at Taylor Swift concert in Stockport. Like how many Southport, sorry. How many times can we keep saying But was he okay though? Like, I don't care. The girls bled out in the street. They were 6 and 7 years of age. Like, I don't care what put him to that point. I just care why we didn't put him down sooner. Like, we already knew. We already knew he kept threatening to do high school shooting, kill kids, shoot kids, grab girls. We knew what he was going to do. Like, why do we allow it to happen? There has to be something where someone checks all the boxes, red flags, they've attacked people, they've threatened people, we just put them away for life. We'll just put them on an island to eat each other. I don't care. I'm just fed up of it. We're just constantly seeing these red flags and they just go, I can't do anything till he hurts you. Thanks, Stephanie, so much. Women who go through domestic abuse, men that go through domestic abuse. So many times we're told, like, well, he's just saying that until he does it. You know, phone us back when he does it. Okay, cool. When he kills me, I'll phone 999, yeah? Like, you'll hear from me over the other side. Like, believe these people. When someone shows you who they are and tells you what they're going to do, believe them. And at that point, be like, well, if you're threatening to kill kids, regardless if you're going to do it or not, I'm not going to take the chance. When do we stop just protecting kids at all costs? I don't get it.